If you can think it in your brain, it already can be on some level. It has to be possible, otherwise you couldn't think it. Until you can feel it at a cellular level, it's so much harder to make it happen. And this is what I believe is why most people get stuck and why very few people break through.
This is the Born to be Brilliant podcast, helping you harness the habits and unlock the tools to bring you more meaning, vibrance, and the personal power to help you shine like the diamond you are.
What is manifestation? I mean, technically, it's taking something from the metaphysical and making it real, right? Turning it into a reality, taking an idea and turning it into reality. There are lots of different ideas around what manifestation actually means though. And some of them are really quite practical and some of them are a bit more, we could say woo, or whatever anyone wants to call it, philosophical, theoretical, and it really is whatever it means to you. And there are lots of different schools of thought on this. I thought it would be a great idea to explore them, but most importantly, to look at how you can very much create a reality that you want more easily than you're letting yourself right now. So let's take an idea as we go through this episode and keep this idea in mind. I would love for you to think of something that you would love to be true for you. Maybe it's a particular milestone you would love to achieve in your business. Maybe it's to do with a personal relationship. Maybe it's money related. Maybe it's to do with your health and well-being. Think of something that isn't how you'd like it to be and visualize how you would like it to be. Or write it down if you're free to do that. But just want you to have something in mind as we walk through this episode so you can see what I mean and how this can apply to you. Okay, hopefully you've got something. So let's start exploring the ideas then around manifestation. Some of these will resonate with you. Some of them you'll feel like, oh my God, that's ridiculous. And you can dismiss those, but there really is something for everyone in here. So to bring an idea or a visualization into reality, to make it happen, of course, we as physical human beings, we need to do something about that. There's no question about that. We need to do something about it. And I have some very clear steps that I use in the work that I do. The first one is that we've got to own it. The second one is that we've got to upgrade something, usually our thinking, our behaviors, our beliefs or something. And the third is that we've got to act upon it. We need to do those three things, otherwise things don't come true. But why is it that some people seem to do this really, really easily and some people seem to always find it hard? Like, what is that about? There's no equilibrium with this. Why? Some people talk about manifestation as being visualization, like, oh, you visualize it and it happens. What is it? Cosmic order. If I visualize a parking space becoming free, it will become free. Like, maybe because you are looking for it, sure. And that's absolutely, that can happen. It's like when you start looking for a particular make and color of a car, you start to see more of them. But where's the truth in that of like, if you can see it in your mind's eye, you can bring it into your reality. It's not like magic in the sense of doing a spell or a trick and it just makes it how it's not magic. But I also think that it depends on your definition of magic. So maybe you could say it is magic. Maybe we are all a little bit magic. But I mean that in a practical sense, like in a real, very real sense, not in the sense that we've been taught it from Disney movies and stuff. So another idea around manifestation is around things like vibration and frequency. How we vibrate is what we attract. And there's some definite science in that. And if you want to, maybe you know a lot about it already, maybe you know nothing and never heard such a thing before, by all means go down that rabbit hole and explore that whenever you like. But scientifically, everything does vibrate, and vibrations happen at different frequencies, and there have been things in our ancient past that were set to frequencies that have been changed in the modern age, which could be to control us as a species to certain levels. But scientifically, if you look into vibration and frequencies, tuning forks, you can look at like sand plates and how frequency has power. You will come to understand this, and how, yes, different energies have different vibrations and attract like. So this is why people talk about things like raise your vibe and things, because if you have a higher vibration, you will attract more of that into your world. Now, as I say, there is science in that. It's not just a theory, but it takes a deeper level of understanding, and it isn't just a switch you can flip. But it is a thing, right? It is a thing. And then there's also, you can go into the depths of like, the vibrations of even down to the food you eat and what you consume. So yeah, you can go really deep with this stuff. Essentially though, to take something from a place of thought and idea or concept and turn it into actuality and bring that into your existence is what we mean when we talk about manifestation. I can think of a time in my own journey where I didn't know it at the time, but looking back, I can now see how I did exactly this, totally intuitively, no strategic or intellectual thought. I probably would have thought there was at the time, but really not, because in a very short space of time, what I envisaged that I wanted to do, have, become, and create, I did. And some of those things were really audacious. Some of those things were big ass goals that I had. Somebody would have to have given me the spot. I couldn't just go and claim it. So how did I make that all happen? From nothing, by the way, like from scratch. Absolutely from scratch. And now looking back, because you can always join the dots looking back, right? Now looking back, I'm like, oh yeah, well, first of all, I saw it. I had a very clear vision of it. I could actually see it happening. I could feel it. Like I was like, I almost like, this is how I'm going to feel. But I didn't sit down and do this intentionally. I didn't sit down and meditate on this. I literally, it just was there, right? And yes, of course, those intentions would have then led to me taking certain actions, and those actions eventually led to those outcomes. Of course, that's how it works, right? But the power in seeing it, believing it wholeheartedly as possible, and actually, to be honest with you, just almost deciding that it's inevitable, like it's going to happen. There was no, I'll try, it would be nice if, or imagine if. It was just like, no, that's happening. Like, I'm going to make that happen. Done. It's already done. And that is actually where the power really, really lies. Is it really any surprise when you think about it that some of the most, I'm going to be careful how I say this. I'm just going to say it. Some of the most stupid people have the most insanely incredible results. Do you know why? Because they have just the right amount of delusion, or maybe no, sometimes too much in some cases, but they are deluded enough to be audacious enough to believe that the thing is possible for them. And so they go out there and audaciously dream and dare and do. And this is why, and this can be positive and negative, by the way. So you can have people that create incredible things from that place, but you also can have people that create incredibly bad things from that place, which is why when you look at some of the most powerful people on earth, a lot of them are perceived as being a little bit crazy. And I actually think it is almost that delusion and audacity combined that gets people places. Look at some of the most successful icons in history and to present day, and you'll see there is a level of audacity and or delusion, but coupled together, it's it's a sense of absolute certainty, like this will happen no matter what. And it's a decision. These people don't give up at no. They persist. There's no other outcome than the one they set their minds to. And I've seen this, let's now come down from, global leaders and, global icons right down to your average, not average, because they're not average, but your local or person in your county who is super, super successful, and go and like unpack that, and you'll find a level of audacity in there, or a healthy level of delusion, probably. I hope healthy. I've seen this play out so many times, like where I've thought, how does that person, like, how did they achieve that? Like, and I say that with love, but there are some people, you know them too. There are some people, I've had conversations like this with other business leaders where I've gone, how does this person, not naming anybody, but how are there people out there that are actually really a hot mess, or really not very intelligent, or you just, when you just think how it's so unlikely that, like, they just don't give off the makeup of somebody that should have that much success, right? And you think, how? And then you look under the surface and go, oh, it's obvious how, because the truth is you don't necessarily need all those things. You just, they just had unwavering audacity, determination, and a little bit of delusion. What is the saying? It's something about like smart people. Sometimes the more clever you are, you get in your own way. So like, you almost don't want to be too clever, because if you're too clever, you just trip yourself up, because you actually have the intelligence to measure probability, risk, and these things that will actually end up keeping you more safe than you need to be in order to break through some of those audacious ceilings. So actually, just you gotta let something go. You can be super clever if you can also add in enough delusion to push you through those ceilings. Or you don't have to be stupid, but you can be, if you can bring in enough audacity to go with that, then you'll push through those ceilings. My point here is, it's about belief. It's about that level of belief that makes you unstoppable in the face of all the odds, that you're like, that I see it, therefore it is. Then you could go on to all the theories around, time and space and reality. And there have been actual experiment studies and stories of scenarios where this has happened. And I will let you go and explore those in your own time if it interests you. I find it fascinating, but unbelievable changes to reality through a sheer rising and feeling of an alternate reality. So let's just explain that for a second, because that could sound a little out there and a little wacky for some people if you don't know what I mean. But what I mean by that is, if you can think it, it can be. Just let that sit for a second. If you can think it in your brain, it already can be on some level. It has to be possible, otherwise you couldn't think it. So if you want to create a different reality to the one that you are existing in, take like one small thing that you want to change about that, and see that different version of reality as being real. That's then the visualization part. Okay, so now you've accepted it could be. Now you see what that could look like. So now you've got hope, you've got possibility, you've got belief, like all good things, but you've got to embody that so you can feel it. So let's take that now to a level of feeling what it would be like. How would you feel? Take something as tangible as money. Let's say your typical month goes up by 50,000 pounds or dollars or whatever your currency is. Like this, let's just say like that, right? So take your monthly income now and put it up by 50,000. Now, you can think it and believe it to be possible, but can you feel it? What does it feel like in your body? Who are you when that is real? What changes for you? What literal feelings in your gut go away? What comes in? You may find that more worries and stresses come in, actually, or you might find that, some very real worries or stresses go away. What does it enable for you? What changes? Because until you can feel it at a cellular level, it's so much harder to make it happen. And this is what I believe is why most people get stuck and why very few people break through. It's the ones that are breaking through are the ones that can, and they don't even know they're doing it, by the way. It's not like they're sat there going, and okay, and how do I feel when this, and what does that feel like in my body, and they're not doing that consciously. They're doing it at some subconscious level though, and at some level they are so sure that it's possible for them that they are sort of doing that. And this is what I believe I did in the story I'm thinking of in my past with a business and what I did. It's like, yeah, I did do that. I didn't know I was doing it, but I did do that. So how can you embody the feelings of what it takes to bring in, to call in, to manifest, to make real that vision and version of reality that you want right now? Because you can, and I believe every one of us can. It's just that very few of us take the time to tap into this, and some people it comes naturally to them, either just because it does intuitively or because they are just audacious or deluded enough. And that's just kind of pot luck, right? But for the average everyday Joe, it doesn't come naturally. It's just not, because it doesn't fit with how we are as a society, how we are raised, how we are conditioned, what we are taught. Like it just isn't. And therefore it just isn't for most of us. But those of us that then go down alternative education routes, exploring different things, keep a very open mind, trust our intuition, tune into things that are not always explainable, then the possibilities become endless. What you can see, you can make real if you apply all of these, the right formula. And if you, I don't want to sound like Disney, or like, if you wish hard enough, all your dreams can come true. But kinda, because it's not about just sitting there and wishing and hoping and putting those results outside of you. That's what that suggests, okay? And as much as I love that, it's very sweet, it suggests that the outcome is outside of you. The outcome is, it will happen to you if you wish hard enough. Like, I don't know, bibbity bobbity boo is going to do it for you. That's not going to happen. It does have to come from within you, but you are underestimating the power that is within you. And that is my point here, is you're underestimating. We all are. I am too. We all do. We underestimate the power that actually lies right within us. We are an incredible species as the pure humans that we are today. Why don't we use that? And we don't use that, and it's not your fault, by the way. It's not your fault that you don't use that. It's not our fault. It's how we've been conditioned. It is what we're brought up in and through and hearing and consuming, and it will never change. But if you can just get back to you at your very nature, natural being self, tap into the wonder of what that even is, like what you're even made up of, the cells, the incredible things that we can do that are pretty inexplicable, quite honestly, that are pretty miraculous. Our very existence is really miraculous. The things that our human body can do are phenomenal. And we just take that as, yeah, we just accept that. But wow. So you think that you can't make more things happen by tapping in to the power of the human that you are? Of course you can. It's just most of us won't in our entire lifetime. And isn't that a shame? So I want this episode and this message today to you to be one of encouragement, inspiration, and empowerment to really hone what you've got, the gifts that you have. Because every one of us comes here onto this planet with this. It's just that very few of us in the time we're here do much with it. And that is why, unfathomable levels of success, abundance, achievement, or whatever you want to call it, because it's always subjective to perspective and opinion, but whatever it is, the majority don't live extraordinarily. The majority live averagely or below average. And that doesn't have to be the case. So I invite you to wake up, tune in, and go and make happen whatever you want to make happen in your time here.
I hope you enjoyed this episode, and remember, go out there and shine your light bright because you were born to be brilliant.